Boom, we're live. Happy Tuesday out there. Exciting debate. We got a debate today. Debate number 11, 12, I want to say somewhere through there. It's kind of gets mixed in with the, because there were some debates that happened at the conferences too. So were they official debates? They were part of debate sessions, but pretty good conversation there as well. Today, if you're tuning in though, bull market debate. Very excited for this. Cairo's here, Pedro's here. Both gents have strong opinions on things and probably have a lot to discuss around why they think the way they think. And again, I don't think this is not it'll be another, who won, who lost. I don't even frame it as that. At least when I debate too, it's like, did we learn something? Like, is there compelling cases that won you over one side or the other? So yeah, I think we all win in this stuff. It'll be fun. I'm sure you guys we'll talk about it afterwards to see who made some interesting points too, as usual. But I'm excited that we can have these discussions. Respectful, educational, entertaining. We're going to hit all three today, I'm pretty sure, and it's going to be really fun. So before we get into it, though, on the opening intro, I got to get us pumped up a little bit. I'm going to do Richard Hart lifting weights.
So you know you're in trouble when your extra large road weight belt doesn't fit no more. I guess I haven't been lifting on the cardio machine so much. So I'll give lifting this heavy crap a try. Let's give it a shot. Yeah, baby. Pussy hands are giving out.
I still haven't figured out how much weight that is, but it's a pretty good lot, I think. I think so.
I think if you include the bar, it looks like it might be 270 or 260.
Okay. And deadlift, I don't even know what is. I haven't deadlifted for a long time. What is a lot in deadlifting? You guys
That's a lot. That's a lot what he's doing right there. Yep.
Okay.
Like if you're 300, if you're doing like 300, that's like Olympic athlete level there.
We got an Olympic IQ founder at least, so maybe he's got some body mass too. Pretty good guy. Welcome back to the show, gents. How's it going?
Welcome, Max. Thanks,
good.
Max.
Yeah. Welcome, Max. We're on Pedro's show. How's it going, Pedro?
Yes.
Let me just put you. There we go. Let's switch you around. Now you get to host. No.
Yes, perfect. No, you guys can have the debate.
Yeah. We one day, you never know if me and Cairo have a debate. It'll be fun though. You never know. I think we're the people who like to debate the most apparently in the community. I have a feeling. Pedro, you're a solid number 3 so far though. You were just like, whatever's coming up, let's do it. I like it. Mm-hmm. It's pretty fun. So did you get pumped up? You guys watching the founder of the HEX token pump some iron? Are you guys pumping those? Are the juices flowing? Is the blood? No blood clots today. We're all good there. Good.
I feel inspired.
Good.
I think it's pretty good. Well, let's get into it. Let's what are we debating today? The bull market debate. What does that mean? Who wants to kick it off?
Yeah, so let's hammer that part out right here, because I think Pedro and I in our private conversations we kind of agreed on what it is we disagree on, and the thinking was Pedro, you believe that the bear market will be wrapping up soon. Probably, you say at the latest, it has at the very latest, it has another 12 months in it. Mm-hmm. But me, what I say is, I don't think the bull market's even started, and it may take a long time before this bull market really starts because of what I believe, and I think this will also be something we debate here, is what I believe causes and governs the cycle itself. Is what I think it is versus what you believe causes and guides and governs and drives the cycle to occur. So I think those two things probably where we'll be clashing heads on as far as the stream today is how long do we have left to make money in this cycle, and what's really guiding the cycle and causing it to happen.
Yeah, exactly that.
And what is your thesis on the other side, Pedro? What is it that you think it's going to be different about that?
I don't think it's actually going to be different. That's the point, right? I think it's going to.
Damn it, Pedro! We're trying to have a debate. You got to be on the other side here. Come on.
No, sure. I'm on the other side. That's exactly the point. The other side is that this will follow more or less the traditional, 4-year cycle. Even though I admit that it does feel a little bit weird, this final leg, let's say, but it so far it has more or less respected the previous cycle, so there's no evidence in my opinion to believe that this time is different, let's say.
Okay, so let's just summarize real quick. Either getting rich now or getting rich later. Good news, everyone. Sounds like. But Pedro's going with the 4-year cycle, could be ending soon. Cairo's like, maybe next summer, maybe a little bit closer to that. I want to ask a question on that too. Is that the Fed getting turned over? New person in, pumpamentals there? Like, what is like maybe a couple pieces of that, Cairo, that you think it's gonna? I mean, before you get into the main points, like what is just off the top of your head, like what is some? Hey, it's going to be till next summer.
Yeah, I'll tell you exactly what I think it is. Is that what I am prepared to show everybody at some point today here, if y'all want to see, is what I think causes the cycle to occur, and definitely causes those parabolic bull runs where you could basically pick any single coin and you're going to make money. What causes that to me is the money printer getting turned on. When that money printer gets turned on, that's where we go haywire. And we're thinking like, oh my gosh, like it's illegal to have this much money in my MetaMask right here. How did this all get here and everything? Like life-changing wealth. And where like probably my thesis in this debate comes from is if I'm being as honest as I can be with everybody, I want to be as honest as I can be with everybody because I could be a scumbag and just say, oh yeah, the money printer's getting turned on real soon. And that way everybody's going to want to watch me because I make them feel good about all the optimism and everything I have. And I still have optimism. But if I'm being as honest with everybody as I can, and as responsible as I can, I got to say, if I don't think that there's more than a 20 to 30% chance that the money printer gets turned on within the next 12 months. I do believe it has to get turned on at a certain point. We're not going to like skip the money printer, but if I'm being as honest as I can be, I think that we got about a 30% chance it gets turned on in the next 12 months, maybe less.
Okay. And Pedro, what's your central kind of piece? Like, what do you think is just invalidates that? Like, what do you think is that unlikely for that to happen?
That's a very good question. Like the invalidation is if we do have a top soon, right? More or less, right? But I think it's only psychology, to be honest. It's basically the fact that a lot of people, think, that the first year cycle is actually true, and they will trade in that direction, let's say. So I do expect, and I can be easily proven wrong if there's no massive, let's say, a massive leg up in the next 4 to 8 weeks, more or less, right? If there's none, then I'm probably wrong, right? I'm probably wrong, and this will probably be an extended cycle, like I was saying. But if it follows the traditional 4-year cycle, like it has been, more or less since the beginning, then we should see, higher activity, new people coming in over the next 4 to 8 weeks, where the cycle top will approach, right? I cannot tell you when, right? It can be 1 month, it can be 3 months, it can be a little bit longer, but it's definitely shorter than 12 months, in my opinion.
Yeah, so the last one was November 2021. Those were
right.
the 4 years. Yeah,
that was the Bitcoin top.
Yes, exactly.
I've definitely heard Cairo speak before about there being nothing magical about the 4-year cycle, and that it follows more of the business cycle and those pieces too. Where do you guys want to kick it off? I think everyone kind of understands where you stand now.
Sure.
Wants to get into some main points.
I don't want to straw man Pedro's argument right here, so I'd like to kind of hear more about what it is that he says is going to cause this to end within the next 12 months or so, and what he thinks is like the overall cause of these cycles as well. So I'd like to turn the mic over to Pedro and hear him out about like how he sees it, and then we'll see where we disagree.
No, absolutely. So we can agree that Bitcoin has been going up, now for quite some time. So the bottom was more or less in January 2023. And since then, which has been over 2 years now, has been going up, right? Altcoins too, not all, obviously. This doesn't apply in the same way to everything, but Bitcoin, now Ethereum, has started its leg up, let's say, its last leg up, in my opinion. Because, as I was saying, Bitcoin started its uprise since for the past like over 2 years. So we've been going up for quite some time already. And looking again at the past, which doesn't mean that history repeats in any way, right? We all know that causation doesn't equal correlation. Sorry, doesn't equal causation. So this means that just because a pattern happened, it doesn't mean that the pattern will repeat. Obviously, if it repeats, then we give it just more probability that it repeats again in the future, right? But so far, the first time it took more or less 2 years, right, from 2011 to 2014, right, which has been, I believe, the longest time for the top, let's say, for like Bitcoin going up, and after that, since 2014, it has been more or less about a year of bear market, and then from there, from the bottom, it starts going up, right, and it tops about. Like I can give you specific. Actually, it's easier. Can I share the screen? Is it okay? It's just easier to share the.
Yeah, of course.
To share the chart. Otherwise, I'm just share screen. I basically only have this, so. Okay, let me just pick the. Yeah, there we go. So you can see my screen, right? Yep. Let me know when you can. Yeah. So this is what I was saying, right? So this one took a little bit longer, right? About 2 years, right, to complete since the bottom. But usually, sorry, the shorter. This was shorter. So I said longer, but this was shorter. So that's what I mean. But usually it takes about 1,000 days, right? 1,066, 1,065. Now I even stretch this a little bit to 1,096 days, right? So I'm just following basically these patterns. And the fact, the only thing that makes me think that this is going to repeat more or less is the fact that Bitcoin has been going up for a long time, right? So about 1,000 and something days, right? Close to. Oops, sorry, wrong one. There we go. About 1,035 days, right? So it has been going up for a long time, and I believe what causes more or less these cycle tops is psychology. So the more people that enter the market, the more the price rises, the higher the probability that we have a lot of people coming in and overheating the market, right? That's what always happens, right? It's the price that basically attracts the people, right? It's not the other way around. So as the price goes higher, we have more people, and because of this, I believe that these cycles work more or less in the same way, right? I would probably not have this opinion, right? If, for example, if Bitcoin went up here and then went it like sideways or down until here, right? Then I would think that probably this is going to stretch. But because Bitcoin has been going up, right? Like in the previous cycles, there's nothing here for me to think that this is going to be different. I'm not talking about macro stuff. I'm just focusing on the chart, right? I'm literally just looking at the chart, nothing else. And looking at the chart, this is what it tells me, right? That over the next couple of months, actually, like 1 or 2 months, we should have the top, right? Like 1 month more or less, to be honest. So that's why I think this can overstretch a little bit, right? Be a bit longer than these 2 cycles, but I don't think that it's going to be like over 1,100 days or something like that, right? Because that would be extending like two more months, I'd say 2 or 3 more months, I think. Yeah, that's literally my thesis, right? It's backed only by market psychology, right? The fact that Bitcoin price has been going up a lot, we see altcoins already like Ethereum, doing doing nice price movements. Solana had an amazing bull cycle this bull run. So I do think that a lot of these other coins that haven't, they will pop up, but it will be much faster, right? It's just going to be a couple of months and boom, that. So yeah, this is more or less my perspective, right?
All right. So what I got there is we have 2 years of up so far. Started in 2023.
Yes.
And basically the reflexivity, the fact that it's a reflexive system, is what's driving the market overall. Anything else you'd say is driving the market and causing these cycles?
I would say that obviously, the macro stuff like money printing, what's happening like with the other markets. I'm sure that that influences everything has an influence on everything else. Basically, that's what I mean. So I'm certain that there is influences of money printing, etc. Right? I even wrote an article a few years back that that compares the basically the quantitative easing with the price of Bitcoin, right? But I don't remember the conclusion. I'll search the conclusion in a bit, and I'll share it. I need to search the article. I don't remember the title. But anyways, my point is, I'm sure that there is influence, but is that influence enough to break the 40-year cycle and the market psychology? I don't think so, right? I think we can have probably we could see a shorter recovery, or maybe the prices will go much higher than we expect right now in the couple of months, right? But what I don't think is that we're going to have actually, I'm interested in hearing your thesis as well, in the sense that I can gauge a little bit. How long do you think is going to take for the market to not move up? So my question is more or less, Bitcoin has been going up now. So what do you expect Bitcoin now to consolidate, to go down, right? And then it will pick up the pace in about a year or something, more or less. Is that so?
Okay, where do I think the market's going as it stands today? I can answer that exactly. I think we got a very tough month ahead of us right here. We're going to get some upward movement with the rate cut coming in about 9 days. But I think overall September is a tough month because there's so much economic uncertainty. I think we're going to have a very difficult Q4 ahead of us too, because there's so much uncertainty about whether the tariffs are going to get reversed and deemed illegal by the Supreme Court. And if they do, they're going to have to refund all that tariff money. That's going to expand the federal deficit. And when that happens, the dollar is going to get very, very weak, which is good for crypto. But because it can get held up in the Supreme Court for so long, that's going to cause uncertainty for a long time, where I think we have a very flat or very difficult up and down, not making much progress Q4 ahead of us. And as far as when do I think it really gets going, there's a lot of things that are going to be able to push it up a little bit. They keep doing rate cuts. That's going to give us some pushing up. But I think we got to wait for that money printer to go off before we really get going like we've seen before, where we see another 2017 or another May 2021. I think we need the money printer for that, just because when you look at the pattern so far of the price, back at your chart there, we really don't see any sort of parabolic blow off in the price history so far this cycle.
Yes, I agree. So far, exactly. That's exactly my point. So far, so I do expect something like that to happen, right? So over the next few months, right? And I'm already stretching a little bit the time frame for this cycle. So let me ask you another question so that I can better understand your position. So you think Q4 is going to be stagnant, more or less, going up and down, but stagnation. And you think also that the real bull market comes when the money printing starts. So my follow-up question is, when do you think that is? Do you think, is it in the next beginning of the year, 6 months afterwards, summer? When do you see that happening, more or less?
Well, the absolute earliest I see the money printer getting turned on is going to be summer 2026. Now, I'm more than happy to be wrong here, because I want you to win this debate here, because I like your position better than I like mine, because I want to sell my bags and move to Puerto Rico and not have to worry about this anymore. We all want to do that. So I want you to win this debate here. But when I look at all of the headwinds and all of the reasons they have not to start the money printer, I don't see enough supporting them to pull that lever here. And the reason why I think they may, the earliest it could happen would be summer of next year, is because, then Jay Powell is out at the Federal Reserve. He's going to be replaced with yes men for Trump, and they're going to do what Trump tells them. Still, even then, I think that they're going to have a lot of resistance to pulling that lever. And if you want to hear why I think that is, why I think they're so hesitant to pull the lever for the money printer, I can go into that. I got plenty of reasons here for that. But if I could ask you this here, what is it that you think is going to be the kind of ending, not necessarily the top price, but how much upward price action do you think Bitcoin has? How much bigger do you think the entire crypto market cap gets before it's all over?
Good, amazing question. I think from the current price, it's about 110, right, more or less. So I think my best hope for Bitcoin right this season would be this cycle. So I say season cycle. For me, I use the same word, but I know they're not. But just so that you get acquainted with some of my expressions. My point is, like I would say 200K, and that's like already stretching a lot. I think it's going to be less, right? This is like me being like extremely positive, right, about the price action. I think it's going to be way less, like 140, like more or less, and I think we're done, right? For Bitcoin, right, it moves into altcoins like properly. So that's my expectation, right? Around 140, if it gets like abused, right? Like a lot of people entering the market way more than we expect, and maybe we could go to 200, right? Maybe like with the rate cuts that you're saying, like something, right? Something happens and it goes a bit higher than I'm expecting, right? But I don't think it will overstretch over 200, right? I think that's for the next cycle that comes after. So do you think, because at the end of the day, I think our opinions could, even though they're different, right, they could align in the sense that if we have a top soonish, right, let's say in the next 30 days we have a top, right, for Bitcoin, and the next month, the month following for the altcoins, right, like usually happens more or less, then we could have like that blow off top, and then we can correct, for example, until the summer, and have like perhaps a shorter bear market, right? Everybody's expecting like 1 year bear market will fuck for the next 1 year and a half, so like I'm going away, and then we have an amazing recovery much faster than what everybody anticipates, and that's what leaves people like chasing the bags afterwards, right? FOMOing in again, right? Because they expect a bear market, typical bear market, but then the typical bear market actually doesn't come, and comes like another leg up, which actually would put it would make me correct, but would also make you correct. Even like I would say it would make you even more correct, right? Because this would be just like another part of the extended cycle at the end of the day, right? I do see that as a possibility, right? Especially if you do have the money printing coming in the summer, as you say, like aggressive money printing, then I do expect this to happen. Actually, if we have this scenario, then 100% that I would think that the bear market could be shortened, right? Which is something that usually people like discuss, but they don't have any actual real evidence, right? And the fact that we do have money printing coming up, and if that actually happens the way that you're describing with aggressiveness, then I see no reason for a much shorter bear market, right? Yeah.
When do you think they turn the money printer on, and what do you think is going to be like their final straw before they do it? Like I say, okay, we got to turn it on now.
Typically, and please correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm no expert in macro, right? Like not at all. But usually it's not. Is it not related to jobs? How like bad or good the job market is doing?
Okay.
So I would think that something bad happening to the jobs market would maybe force them to kickstart things sooner. Maybe, but that's just like a very and not expert opinion.
Well, that's good that you say that, because that's relevant to what happened today with the jobs report revision. So let's take a look here at some of that right here, because I brought my stuff with me here too.
Brought the facts.
Brought some charts and everything. Let's see, is my screen
Pedro got a great chart too, by the way. Pedro, I like the previous chart too. This is going to be a great battle. I'm excited.
All right, y'all see my screen now, or what's happening? Is it working?
Yeah, we're here.
Yes.
You do see it? Okay, great. So here's what I was hoping to see happen today here with like the there's the opposite of what I was hoping would happen. The jobs report comes out where they revised that there was almost 1 million jobs that they didn't actually have. They had to revise it down by 911 jobs. I was expecting to see this part of the rate cut probabilities go higher, but you see yesterday it was at 11%. Now it's down to 8% here. So it seems like even with the data that they got today, they're still wanting to take less easing type actions over at the Fed. They still want to do it very slowly, just do like 25 basis points at a time, as opposed to, going 50 basis points in, make that cut right there. Let's really jumpstart the markets, get some juice into the economy and everything, try to stimulate it and all. So when I saw this here, I was just like, yeah, could be a while before they turn that money printer back on here. And also, of the treasuries, I go back to that here. When we look at treasuries for, say, the 10-year treasury that I've been constantly blabbing about on every single one of my screens here. Yep. Every single one of my streams has been blabbing on and on about the 10-year treasury. Let's see, where is it at today? It's at 4.06. So that's great. It has gone down here and everything. But like what we need to see happen for that bull run to really get going, to see that like everything is turned around and like the world is back to normal and these assets can go up like they previously have, we need to see this rate be below the federal funds rate, which, currently they say, well, it's between 4.25 and 450 because, it varies day to day. But right now, this is below the federal funds rate. It needs to flip. It needs to reverse, because that's what preceded every parabolic bull run that we had before, was and not just in crypto, but like in stocks as well. We need those two rates to flip there, because you see federal funds, that's an overnight rate. 10-year treasury, well, that's a 10-year rate. It would make sense that the 10-year treasury should be higher than a one-day borrowing rate. And till we get that, the world is still kind of in disorder, and we need kind of like the financial world to get back in order to get going. Because the way to look at this here is like these interest rates, they kind of represent the force of financial gravity in the world that we exist in right here. They say, well, that interest rate's 4%. It just means gravity in this universe now is 4% stronger. It's going to be higher. It's going to be harder to get to the moon with that type of gravity against us.
Okay. No, I understand your point. And just to reiterate what I was saying, that I think it actually works with your arguments, I would say. It's my conclusion that I wrote a few years back, a piece, not an article, actually a research piece about the influence of QE in the price of Bitcoin, right? Literally what you're saying. And I do conclude that at the end of the day, it depends on how traders and investors view the Bitcoin network. If most believe it is a safe haven asset, then QE will eventually push up Bitcoin's price. As currency becomes extremely abundant, assets with the strong network effects and limited quantities tend to rise in price. So this actually goes very well with what you're saying. And so my point is, what I'm getting from this conversation is that actually we can be both right at the end of the day. If the scenario that I described earlier, right, where we do have, I'm sorry for the background noise, but my kids are running around now. It is already, it's at the end of the day, where we give them bath and food and everything, so they're a bit crazy. So sorry for the background noise. But my point is, if we do have a blow off top in the next 1-2 months, then we could absolutely correct over 50% over the next 6 months, and then if the money printer goes up for some reason, right, if there's the inversion that you're talking about, for example, or whatever reason, doesn't matter, if we have a proper QE, then I would say that we can definitely have a much faster recovery, and we can leave a lot of people holding stables and who need to get in quick, right? That would significantly accelerate the new bull run, let's say. But that does also mean that it doesn't invalidate the 40-year cycle, I would say, right? It just makes it a little bit different, but there's still more or less 4 years, right? In every cycle so far.
Yeah, see, it only works out for Bitcoin, though, because Bitcoin's really been the only thing successful this cycle, because most of your altcoins, when we look at even just the front page of CoinMarketCap, many of them are still down over 50%.
Yes.
So doesn't that invalidate the 4-year cycle for the alts?
That's my point. I think a lot of these alts are going to have very quick blow off tops, right? Very, very quick. Not like Solana. Solana has been growing a lot, right? Capturing most of the attention, all the meme coins in Solana in general, right? But that hasn't happened with a lot of other projects, right? PulseChain, even Ethereum. Even Ethereum has been more or less dead, right? Now it had the price finally picked up the pace, but up until a few months back, it was total shit, right? So I do agree with you in this, in a way that it has been a strange bull market, especially because of the altcoin market has been quite dead, right? I don't think it has been dead. I think the attention just went to Solana, right? In the past, the attention went to the previous cycle. The attention went to Ethereum first, and then to Binance Chain, etc., right? So it was, I think, a little bit more dispersed. This time it has been concentrated in Solana. Solana has won the altcoin, king, top of the hill king, right? This cycle, there's, for me at least, there's no other way to look at this, in the sense of how has the altcoin market performed, right? Because Solana has performed very, very well, Solana and coins within Solana, right? So I don't think it's fair to say that all altcoins went to shit, right? I think it's fair to say that 99% went to shit, except one that won, the market from all the others, at least so far, right? I think that trend will shift, and the price of Solana has been showing that, and the activity, attention, right? People are finally migrating to other chains because of the price action, right? Ethereum has been picking up the pace. XRP, for example, went up as well. So I do think that some coins are picking up the pace, right? it's not. I don't apply that rule of the altcoins to everything, but I do agree. Most of them, if you look at CoinMarketCap, for example, most of them look absolutely trash, like minus 50% from prior all-time highs, right? So in that regards, I agree. It's weird, but look, minus 50%, it's very easy to pump, right? That's also my point, right? 3 for 4x, whatever the number is, it's very easy to do, and then they're above all-time highs again, right? So yeah.
Okay, maybe so you say that like maybe it's Solana has been taking most of the performance,
Oh, yes.
and there's just not a lot left over for the others.
Yes, 100%.
Well, yeah, like I'm not so sure I can agree with that either, because like when we look at Solana right now, it's got a market cap of 116 billion. The price is 214.
Yep.
It had been there before in the previous cycle, and in the previous cycle, it wasn't draining and siphoning performance off some of these other coins.
Yes, we don't have the new people yet. That's exactly my point. I agree with you. I think it has been taking the market from the other coins, but the new people, they're not here. I agree 100% with that statement.
Okay.
Right? They're not here. Like they're not here at all. We just have like a little bit, right? Like I can give you an example. A lot of the people that have been coming like to talk to me because of the RH memes, they're new people, which has surprised me a little bit. They say, "Oh, I entered PulseChain last month," and I'm like, "Oh, that's actually surprising, right?" Which means that some of the new people are actually joining in now, right? Like the first batch, and the first batch is always the slowest, right? The other batches of people that come after, they influence the price with a much higher, like like effect, right? With a much higher effect, so the price moves much more. But I agree with you. Most of the new people, they're not here. Like, so that was exactly my point. Solana has taken the market from other chains. That's why it pumped a lot from $20 or whatever to 200, right? 10x, nice. Besides the fact that it has a lot of the coins within Solana did like thousands of X's, right? So a lot of memes, etc. So we've seen that crazy activity happening in Solana, right? But again, from people within crypto already, not like very few new people, I would say. Maybe new people went to Solana too, right? I cannot say that didn't happen, sure. But what you're saying is actually correct. By looking at the price action, we can actually see that there hasn't been that much new people coming into Solana, right? I think it's most of the people who are in the crypto market already.
All right. Now, do you think that, like, how do you see it playing out then? Because like the new people are not here yet. I mean, do you see them coming in here within like before the next 12 months are over, and we're going to have like a really quick parabolic run for everything, and then we die out?
Yes, sir.
And
yes, that's exactly how I see it. Yes, sir.
Is it possible though? Like we have that, but the money printer hasn't been turned on yet.
Sure.
And it runs out of steam.
Yes.
A few months go by, then they turn the money printer back on. Do we start going back up, or are we going to ignore the money printer?
No, look, that's a great question. In my humble and not expert opinion, yes, we should move up, right? It only makes sense that when the money printer gets turned on, like at least 3 to 6 months afterwards, yes, because that's usually what happens. It turns on more or less 6 months. I think it like we start to see like proper action, right? So yes, that's exactly what I think it should happen, right? But we know that the market is so fucking retarded, and it's so crazy that sometimes what we expect doesn't happen, right? So it could take longer, right? It could take longer, and like for example, Trump wants to end the presidency with a like huge big pump, right? So he might want to delay that. I don't know. Look, I have no fucking clue. No clue regarding that.
Okay. Max, you were about to say something there. You had something you wanted to add to this?
Maybe not add to it. I did want to bring up at some point Tom Lee. Tell me if it's a good time or not. But I think that I keep seeing him on Altcoin Daily, CNBC, all that stuff, and he's now believes a new bull market that could run until 2035. He's like, mega bullish, all this stuff. He's Bitwise, big Ethereum fund, all that. And I was curious what you both think about this. I watched a clip yesterday, and it's basically saying like institutions are treating this as a new bull market because it's hitting all-time highs, even though maybe the rest of everyone's looking at it differently. And maybe maybe his point even is kind of like pointing towards, I mean, he's really bullish on the end of the year, but also it seems like he thinks it's going to run a lot longer. Take that for what you will. But anyways, have you guys heard his position, and what do you think about that?
Before that, sorry, let me apologize, Max. I forgot you don't like swear words. So let me apologize for the swear words that I said.
No, I totally don't. I have no
I had-
restrictions on swear
We
words.
just swear in Spanish there. We
But,
always say
yeah,
mierda.
but look, but I respect, right? Some people don't like them. Like I avoid. So sorry.
I
about that.
think
forgot.
anyone who comes to the debates probably understands this. It's going to be a different atmosphere too. It just reminded me. I was feeling this nostalgia for the Richard streams because I don't know if you all remember. He didn't say retard for a long time.
Oh yeah.
Or he said it for a long time, and then everyone's like, "Stop saying it." And eventually he stopped saying it. So it reminded me of that period when he was transitioning away from saying it. But anyways, I don't monetize, so I'm not gonna make less money today doing that. So you're free range. Be yourself.
No, sure.
Everyone listening,
I apologize,
understand
man.
that.
It's,
Everyone listening, understand that. These are debates. These
Sure.
are not the normal shows.
Sure.
But go ahead.
Go ahead, Cairo, if you want.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't heard him say that like it's going to be a run till 2035. I have seen like some of these other key opinion leaders saying that if the stablecoin thing really does repatriate a lot of those euro dollars, that could push us out longer, or it could be a situation of higher for longer. I heard Lark Davis talking about that this morning. BitBoy actually turned around and started getting like really bullish again here, and he's saying he doesn't think that we have bear markets like we've had before, and maybe it's like the bear market is so tame that people just kind of look at it as all just one big continuous bull run. I don't know that plays out because if I can show you this thing here, like what's kind of governing my thinking on where these markets go and what causes them to do what they do here. I know that like the markets, how they react to the money printer and how they react to the actions of the Fed, they're very sensitive. And whatever the Fed does, they don't do it forever. So let's see if I can go back to like this thing on the Fed balance sheet, because I think this one just kind of gives us like the perfect explanation for like why we went up each time we went up. It was like even like way back when Bitcoin was first created. That was over here. 2008 was like when the white paper was released. So technically 2009 was probably our first bull run. Well, there was a money printer going off right here because the Fed balance sheet went up. And then here with the lead up to 2000. I remember the first time I ever even heard of Bitcoin actually was 2011 because it had like a really good run then. This was the reason why, is because of the Fed balance sheet. Here's 2013's bull run. And some people say, well, yeah, it stayed flat the whole time during 2017 when we were going up. I'm like, yeah, it stayed flat, but you got to bear in mind here on the Fed's balance sheet, the assets there are bonds. Bonds are not permanent investments. They have a fixed life that ends at a certain point. And when those bonds come to an end, when they mature, they got to be replaced with new ones in order to keep the balance sheet flat. So technically, the Fed was still buying and still printing money to buy bonds to replace ones that were mature. And that's why we went up the whole time in 2017, because they maintained the policy all the way up until January 18th, 2018. And we all know what happened then. That's when the 2018 bear market occurred. And then, look at this great big upward candle here of so much money being printed all at once. This was May 2020. I mean, practically, they printed $4 trillion in just 3 months. And we saw the effect that had on the 2021 market. A year later, from this big addition to the balance sheet was our first top. And then this one right here kind of goes all the way on. It keeps going all the way up all throughout 2021, which I think led to our second top that came later on that year. But we'll also look at whenever they reversed the policy, like either they stopped or if they just let the balance sheet run off, they call that tapering. That was when we had very brutal bear markets. And this last one that we had here, this was the most tapering that they ever did. And that's why this bear market has been the most brutal one it ever did. But also what stands out to me here is this little thing that's sticking up right here. March 2023, March 22nd, 2023. Anybody remember what went on back then? Because it was something very significant for our community back then. Anybody remember?
March 2023?
March 2023.
That was 2 months before PulseChain launch.
Yeah.
Yeah. How was the price of HEX? If we look at the price chart for HEX back in March 2023,
Number one.
we're going to see a pretty good couple of good green candles there, because this was when Silicon Valley Bank failed. And that's why the Fed had to move into action with some more money printing to kind of bail them out. And I remember HEX was doing very well in response to that. Everybody was saying, well, HEX is kind of like a bankless narrative or self-banking narrative of like handling your money the right way, being your own bank and everything. And that did very well for us. So how I see it, what I see is like this policy, why I say this is the most important thing here, the Fed's balance sheet, is just a couple of things here. I mean, one, our crypto assets are priced in dollars. If there's more dollars in our circulation of the economy, those dollar bills have to go somewhere. When there's not enough stuff in the economy, which is true, there's not enough stuff in the economy, either we get inflation or it goes into financial assets, because financial assets, especially crypto, serve as kind of like the overflow pan to catch all that stuff. But what else to see here is that, not only is it looking like almost a perfect correlation between when crypto went up and we had bull runs and when it went down and what the Fed was doing and everything. And not only do I see it as that here, but what I also hear a lot is people that make the prediction that Bitcoin by 2030 is going to be $1 million. You hear that a gazillion times there. Everybody acts like it's the first time it's ever said whenever Kathy Woods makes that prediction for the 150th time.
Exactly.
Why is it that they say 2030? I mean, like, why can't it do it now? And
No, look, it could
I'll
be,
answer
right?
that.
Okay,
answer
sorry.
that here, because there's a reason why I can't do it now, is because the money necessary to do that hasn't been printed yet. Whereas if we have another money printing cycle by 2030, of course there'll be enough money in the world to do that with. So that's kind of the giveaway to me here, that this money printing is what tells crypto what to do. I can't wait to have this discussion with T-Bird, because he's like definitely a 4-year fundamentalist. But I want to say, how do you come to the idea that time is what tells crypto what to do, when I can also point to the Fed balance sheet and it looks like that's telling crypto what to do? Or really, if I want to be like as much of a chaotician as possible, I could point to the Benner cycle, that Farmer's Almanac,
Yep.
and it's spot on as well. And if we're going to believe something that has the best track record, well, that's been around the longest.
No, 100%. People shouldn't disregard those things that have good track records. Like, absolutely not. 100% not disregard. And I believe that one is the one about 2026, right? Like, next year would be a good year, right? Is that the one?
Yeah, that's right. Benner cycle would say that both it's about the stock market, but still crypto
sure.
has fallen in
Yeah.
line with it. And it says that the market's going to keep going until 2026.
Okay, but that's my point, right? It can align with what you're saying, because look, if we run until the end of the year and actually run a little bit into January, it's 2026, right? There's like a 365 days gap there, right? 2026 can be the beginning or the end, right? Can be both things. Like, for example, Ethereum had like the top at January 4th, 2018, right? So it was on 2018 already, right? After the 2017 bull run. Bitcoin topped in December and Ethereum, for example, in January, right? So it's already the new year, right? I could use that argument saying, look, it was proven right, and still early 2026, right? So what I do think, and my only point is more psychology than anything else, right? Because the price is only psychology. It's not only, right? There's bots and everything, but more or less it's psychology, right? So it's people coming in, pushing the price up or down, and the other people doing that depending what the people that previously traded did. So if we do have more people coming in now and pushing the price up, then we can absolutely have a blow off top, right? We don't really need any new money for that. Money can flow from other assets, for example. So that would be perfectly fine. But I recognize that money printing 100% helps. Not always, and I'm going to share an example. I think you mentioned it already, but I found it on the article that I wrote. Right, the data went to 2020 only. That's when I wrote it, probably. But can you see you guys can see my screen, right? I think.
Yeah.
So this one here, like I agree. For example, this Kiwi, right, that happened during this time frame, right? it looks like it pushed the price. This one too looks like pushed the price, but then this one did nothing, right? The price of Bitcoin just went down. It wasn't the largest one, right, compared to these two, right? And then we have like here quantitative tightening, right? And the price we can agree that it went a bit down here, but then quickly consolidated and start moving up again, right? So I mean, did it really have a huge influence? I'm not like, I don't know. Like looking at this, if I had removed this, maybe this was always going to be the price action, right? I can also argue, against this logic and say, no, look, clearly there was an influence here, right? So it points to having an influence, right? And this is just one example, right? The data continues, right? But that's when I wrote it. But my point is, I'm not sure if we're going to have like an extended cycle. I think this cycle is not really exactly like the other two, the previous two, right? No cycle is the same, okay? Last time we had the double top, it was new, right? This time, the Bitcoin price went below the previous all-time high, something that had never happened, right? So, I mean, there's new things happening all the time, but that doesn't invalidate the other things as well, right? We can still have a 4-year cycle a little bit extended, right? And perfectly fine. Doesn't matter, right? But I do agree, like, if we have money printing, it's very difficult that the prices of general crypto don't go up. It's very difficult. They will go up because that's what commonly happens, right? When we have money printing, prices eventually go up, right? We have that example, right, that I showed you, Bitcoin not going up during money printing, but usually it happens the opposite. So I mean,
Pedro, what's the difference between number going up and the bull market? Because we've seen Solana go up a bunch in the last year or two. We've seen Ethereum going up a lot now. We've seen a lot of downtime in a cycle where other things have been going up, and most things have been going down, but some things have been going up. What is the difference between number go up and bull market?
There's no difference. Bull market is number go up, right? But like, look, you're in an asset class which is called crypto, right? In this crypto asset class, there's like coins going up and coins that don't go up, right? Like it's like normal SP 500, right? In the SP 500, there's companies that don't do that many X's, right? The market can do 10X and they can only do like maybe 2X, right? So it's the same thing, right? In our case, it's a bit worse because we're not even going up, right? We're going down, right? So, but it is what it is. It's just people selling, right? And we haven't been able to attract the new buyers, which is, it's fine. We needed the people to leave. Like Ethereum, look, I have a new thesis, which is like these staking coins, proof of staking coins, or like if you have like some sort of inflation, if it's not mining, then there is going to be more sell pressure, right? But that can invert very quickly too, right? But I'm still working on a thesis. I need to look at some more data, right? I'm not convinced yet 100%. It looks like it, but not. I'm not ready to say this actually is true, right? Or it looks like I have a lot of data that I still need to look at, but. It kind of seems that way, to be honest. It kind of seems that way, that these proof of stake coins do need a little bit more time to recover. But then, if they go up, I think they will go up much faster, right? But we'll see. That part of the thesis is still to be seen, actually. So,
and Cairo, are we in a bull market? I'll let you respond to that just after this one real quick, though. Are we in a bull market? And if not, just quickly, what do we need to see in order to recognize we are in a bull market?
How I would define a bull market, I would say no. Because how I define the bull market is where you have that 6 months of euphoria where you get those parabolic runs in just about anything that you pick here. Because I'll tell you, like, here's what you're going to see when that money printer gets turned back on. All three of us and everybody in the chat, we're all going to be really, really rich. Even though, like, we're all pretty different people here. I mean, like, Max, you're an RH maximalist. That doesn't matter. You're going to get very, very rich because of it. Pedro, you like meme coins. That doesn't even matter. Even your meme coins are going to do pretty well.
I know. Thank you, sir.
I'm one of these guys that buys a little bit of everything. I'm a pretty diversified guy. And that doesn't even matter. I'm going to do very well, too. Even, it pains me to say this right here because they're not particularly nice to me, but even the PDI people are going to make money.
They will do very well. Of course.
When that money printer goes off, because that's just how powerful of a force that it is when it comes in. But because we haven't had the money printer go off and we're still in an environment of quantitative tightening where they're still letting the balance sheet run off. And even though these rate cuts coming up are going to probably push things up just a little bit higher, it's not going to be like a bull run like we're used to. And I think that that's also like, Pedro, you talk about the psychology of this here, the psychology of markets. I think that the psychology just from how it's playing out, might actually help extend it longer here, because a lot of people are going to be thinking as the end of the year comes, they're going to be thinking, what the heck? This was the 4th year of the cycle. We should have been really, really rich. Nothing happened. I'm selling my bags. Screw crypto. And, of course, they're going to regret a few months later that they did that. But a lot of people are going to do that. And then maybe when the new year rolls around, there's going to be a lot of people that say, well, it's a new tax year. Let me take my profits now. And maybe I'll get back in if I feel like it later. But the way it looks right now, it doesn't look like crypto is going to do anything for a while. So I do think that even the psychology, in addition to the delay of the money printer, is going to have this thing pushed out further. But let me ask you, like, is there something that you think is kind of like delaying either the money printer or delaying like real bull market action right now? And how much of an obstacle do you think that is? What is it that overcomes that? Where do you see like the parabolic God candles coming in? Like what's going to cause them? What do we got to overcome to have that?
That's a very good question, but I'm very basic in those terms. I think it's the price. I always think it's the price, honestly, because through the research that I've done, the price is the factor that explains the price. The people coming in, the price explains more the people coming in than the people coming in explains the price action, which is actually absolutely crazy. But this is factually truth, right? So for me, it's the price. The price explains about 30-something%, close to 40% of the people coming in, which is a lot. It's very statistically that's huge. Like that's insane. Like usually if you have some data point that explains 5%, you're happy, right? You're happy because it's already statistical significant. This price is like 40%. It's insane. It's a lot. So it is the price that dictates the people's next moves, right? The people's next movement. So what will cause that, like that initial batch of people to like go bananas and pump the price? It's whales. It's always whales. It's also always the insiders that do that first and next, always. So when I say insiders, it's people within the communities already, people with a lot of money, so people that are not in the market yet, right? So those are the ones that do the first and next, and the next 100x usually comes with the new people, right? That's usually more or less how this happens, right? Not exact values, obviously, this like varies, but this is more or less the standard. So I do think it will be people with a lot of money that are already in crypto, in stables, in Bitcoin, etc., that are gonna do a massive early push over the next couple of weeks, and then the new people will just flock in very quickly afterwards. That's what I think will happen. Right? But everything this comes down to price, which I know it's a very, like sometimes I think might be a. Again, I'm going to say retard you again. Sorry, bro. Retard you answer because you're just using the price to explain.
English. No restrictions.
No, I like to say retard you. I think it's a cool word. I think it's funny.
It sounds cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds cool. But
Cairo, your rebuttal.
Yeah.
Well, I think like what's holding us back here is not so much that like the price isn't high enough, because when the price is high, yeah, that attracts people and everything, but like the price has to first be high in order for it to go higher. Yes. That really sets up like this giant hurdle here that we need. The first person to jump it's got to be like this crazy visionary or something to do what is against the human nature of every other participant in the market. See, I think what's really holding us back is just that there's very good reasons they have for keeping the money printer off. I mean, for one, there's a massive maturity wall in treasuries and even corporate debt as well that's still being cycled through. I mean, I showed at the PulseX conference that there was like a good $10 trillion worth of treasuries maturing this year. Next year, they got $8 trillion maturing. It's just as bad. And they probably want a lot of that to get rolled over and refinanced first before they start turning on the money printer. Right now, the treasury debt that they sell is still being bought up, even though they're demanding higher rates. Really need those rates to go higher, like over 5%, for them to be like, oh my gosh, we really got to turn the money printer back on and bring these rates down. If you see like the rate cuts coming up having very little to no effect on the 10-year treasury, that could cause them to want to turn on the money printer. Or if, a real freak accident, like, say inflation came in much lower than the 2% target, they would absolutely be considering it. So if the rate cuts prove to be insufficient, that's one thing. But, they just started. They're just about to start rate cuts, so it's too early for that. We also need like foreign participation in these U.S. Treasury auctions to go down a lot faster than they are right now. Because a lot of foreign investors, they don't want to be investing in treasuries. But right now, they hold 1/3 of U.S. debt. If they were to immediately divest, well, absolutely, that turns the money printer on, because that's a disaster for the United States. But I think it would take like a war to cause that. I do see that all of these foreigners are just going to not reinvest when the treasuries they hold right now come due. I think that they're going to be like, okay, we're done investing in treasuries. But that's going to take a long time for a lot of these treasuries to expire in a meaningful amount, to the point where nobody is going to be buying, no foreign investor is going to be buying more treasuries. I think that's going to take at least a year before we have any meaningful reduction in foreign investment. And right now, China is doing quantitative easing. And since they're the president's favorite punching bag, well, he's happy to have them devalue their currency against ours. The job revision report today did increase the odds of quantitative easing, I think. But still, I don't foresee like Jerome Powell making a bigger cut, because we saw the likelihood of a bigger cut come down and the 25 beeps go up. What's more likely to happen is they got to stop doing quantitative tightening first, which will be bullish for our markets. But I think the real bull run is when the policy is totally reversed. When it's not just paused, but it's totally reversed. They turn on those money printers. And I think that's why they really want to avoid doing it, is because that money printer is like a nuclear bomb with how much power it has. Like if you saw the movie Oppenheimer, you remember like back towards the end when Robert is feeling very guilty about what he invented, because he hears the screams of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in his head. It's haunting his nightmares and everything, and he's worried that this is going to get used again here. I think Jerome Powell and a lot of other people at the Fed got similar nightmares going on, because America still hasn't recovered from the last time that they did this. Everything is still so expensive because not enough stuff is being produced to balance out the massive amount of money that was printed last time. And I talk about this on my streams a lot, and I hear this a lot in a lot of TradFi streams. Instead of a K-shaped economy or a K-shaped recovery, we're going to have an I-shaped economy when this is all over, where you have just a very small percentage of all the people up at the top that own all the assets, and there's a wide chasm where you got the dot of the I and then the line where it's everybody else, and there's a huge chasm between them, and all those other people that don't own any assets, that are not like the three of us, not like any of the people in the chat, don't own anything at all, they're going to be indentured slaves for the rest of their life, because the amount of money printing they're going to need to do this time around is going to need to be at least twice as much as what they did last time. And, after the last QE, we're living in a world where times are so tough, there's 10 million women on OnlyFans. I think after this next QE, we're going to be living in a world where there's 10 million women on Backpage. So, Eric Wall, your time's coming to finally lose your virginity.
I thought you were going to say there'd be 10 million men on OnlyFans.
10 million men on OnlyFans, yeah.
We're going to be there, yeah.
They don't want to do this until they absolutely have to. And I think that Jerome Powell is hoping his term is over before it has to be done, because his legacy right now is the fact that he messed up in 2019. And then when they finally responded in 2020 and turned those money printers on, they printed way too much. And we're still living the consequences of it. So I'm thinking he wants to be out before they do it. So absolute soonest I see it happening would be summer of next year.
Can I share my screen again very quickly, because I want to complement the point that I was making before, because I saw some people in the chat saying something that's, I think, factually not true about Solana, for example, saying that it did forex. Maybe I misunderstood, right? So this is like the same chart, right, that I was showing. I just added Ethereum, BNB, and Solana, right? So Ethereum is like 137% above the bottom, right? The bottom 2023. BNB is 314%, and Solana is 2,000%. So, and Bitcoin is 700% right now, right? So I mean, this looks like a bull market, right? Clearly, to me at least, looks like a bull market. Like these coins are like going up, doing nice numbers, right? And again, within these ecosystems, there are coins doing pretty well as well, right? So I know that we haven't felt that here in PulseChain, right? We haven't felt that we're in a bull market, we're in a bull run. But looking at the outside crypto market, outside of PulseChain, it does seem like it. It does seem like it, right? We are a special case, right? We have a lot of people wanted to jit out Bitcoin to USD to whatever, right? So instead of having buy pressure, we had sell pressure. Hello, sell pressure. Remember, Richard? Hello, sell pressure. So he recognizes that, and we have to recognize that too, right? Looking at the PulseChain Core's chart, right? Like most coins, right? They just went down, right? Like had those 2 moments where they went up and then down again, right? But like the other, like a lot of other projects, they haven't had this behavior, right? They've been going up. So in a bull market, right? And they have been in bull markets and bull runs. So I do think we're going to have it in PulseChain. It's going to be much faster than everybody anticipates, which also explains why. So like why it's possible to do this, because like look, if PulseChain does 10x in 2 weeks, I can guarantee you a lot of people are going to jit out. I can guarantee you that, right? Because it's too fast. People are going to be scared. They're going to jit out. What happens then? It's the next 100x when people arrive and we go there very, very fast, right? That's what I expect to happen, right? Because nobody expects it. Nobody expects we do like 100x in 2 months. People think it's impossible, right? So I don't know. That could happen, something like that. Maybe not 2 months, 3 months, something like that. A little bit more extended than usual, but that's something that I could see happening, right?
Okay. Yeah, and Max, like you had asked earlier, like, do I think we're in a bull run? I said no. I also wanted to give you this reason here. This here on, thankfully, CoinMarketCap finally gave this to us here. It says crypto market cycle indicators. Mm-hmm. So they give us 30 different indicators that when they're activated, the indicators telling us we're at the top. None of them have been indicated. None have been activated this whole cycle right here.
Okay. No, I agree. But those can be activated within the next 3 months if we reach the top, right? If we do like overhit entirely, like 10x, 100x from here, right? I'm not talking about Bitcoin, obviously. I'm talking about the altcoin market cap. And like another one, I think the number one, at least for me personally, the number one indicator, it has been the Coinbase app, right? When it's number one for like a couple of weeks, get the fuck out. It's top. Like usually, like so far, it never missed. I'm sure they don't have that indicator there, but the Coinbase downloads app, it's absolutely for me the best indicator of all so far, right? It could change, right? If Coinbase stops being like one of the most used apps, then this obviously changes. But so far, I don't think that this indicator will change, honestly. So when you see Coinbase for 2-3 weeks as the top one most downloaded app, get the fuck out. That's my perspective.
Well, it's not to say that like we're at the top or anything, but like this is why I would say we weren't even in a bull market at all here. Because like also, when we look at this, Bitcoin dominance hasn't fallen below 50% for the past 2 years. Stayed above 50%. So if there's any bull run at all, it's just all been in Bitcoin.
But look at that drop, Cairo. Can you just highlight like that big drop in? I mean, let me. No. In 2020, in the first of, I mean, it all says 1st of January, so I cannot see the date. But before now, move your mouse to the left. To the left. It should be now left, like early, one of the earliest ones, right?
One of the earlier
the orange one. Yeah, I'm looking at the Bitcoin dominance chart, right? So Bitcoin, go like that. Then Bitcoin dominance moves up, right? After that, where you have the mouse, and then it drops like a fucking arrow, right down, boom.
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about. Like
this was the 2017 cycle here. Yep.
And the other one, the other one after that, 2021. No, wait. You see that huge drop?
2021. That's right.
Before that, like between those, there's like there's
right
a line going down.
Right
yeah,
here.
Yeah. Look at that one. How long did it take?
Let's see. In this one here, we had June all the way to December,
and then 1 month. In 1 month, how much did it drop in 1 month? 65, around what, 62% too?
Here we go from that's right. In 1 month,
bro. When 1 month it dropped 20%. That's what I'm saying. Like these things can like move in a fucking heartbeat. Like 1 month and boom, everything changed, right? And then you have the top. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean that's just that's just the dynameters of alt season, where you have Bitcoin kind of like winding down while the alts are just getting started. And that goes on for like a good month or so. And what else we could see from that, though, is just that all of the alts X Ethereum, without Ethereum, they will actually pop up over ahead of Bitcoin and be like the dominant force in the market for like a good 1 or 2 months. And when we look at like how it's separated from it right now, there's about a good almost 30 points separate them. It's about 28 points to separate them right now. So that'd be very hard to like to cover that distance between the two of them in a short amount of time. Like, I imagine it could do it in 6 months, but do you think it could do that in 1 month, where it could the alts X Ethereum could make up 28 points all within 1 month?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be 1 month. I think it's going to be probably like 2 months, 3 months max. But yes, I think it's going to be a very, very short time frame for that. I don't think, again, not 1 month. It's possible to be 1 month, right? It's possible. I don't think it is, but it's possible, right? It's going to be fast. My point is, looking at the past, these things move so fast, right? That in 1 or 2 months, boom, you have the line, it dropped like 20, 30%, the Bitcoin dominance, and boom, you have the top, right? Look, I'm just saying this because I experienced this since I got in 2015, so like 3 times already, right? So it's always like that. It doesn't seem that they're going to move. HEX was a little bit different. I have to be 100% honest. HEX was the outliner, right? HEX was going up for a long time, right? With other alts, that did not happen. It was like this, super fast. In 1-2 months, it went up 100x and then it fell. Boom, that's it, right? So yeah, I do see that happening.
If you're talking about alt season, alt season is very short. It's a very short amount of time that alt season lasts. But like, for us to be there to have alt season, and we got Bitcoin's got to kind of like be at the end of its run. And when we take a look at this, who's participating in Bitcoin right now, there's really not a lot of retail people in it. It's really just institutions. It's BlackRock, it's Fidelity, it's Arkham, or just Ark Invest. It's the strategy and everything. There's not that many There's not that many retail investors in it. Yes. And my thinking is like, these institutions, there'd be a reason why they're getting in right now. Because you see, if it's coming to an end, well, they're all set to lose a lot of money.
No. Wait. No, but look, I have this amazing stat that's just fucking. I need to find it. It's in an article that I wrote. Like, I don't
blow our minds. Let's do it.
No, but look, this is like you miss. How was it? Like, if you miss on the best 10 days of trading, something like that, you miss on like 99% of the potential gains. Look, this is insane. But that is insane, bro. It's like saying you like. Yes, they're not late. They're not late because, like we agree, the people are not here yet. But people come so fast. Like in weeks' times, we have like 10x more people, right? Like it happens so fucking fast. Like it's so quick, and then they just leave. And then we have a top. The whales leave. They get to hold their bags for like 6 months, and then they start leaving, right? Usually that's more or less what happens, the new people, right? So I don't think they're late at all, right? Because we haven't seen that. They are the ones that attract those people. They are the ones doing the advertising and paying for the marketing and all that, right? Those are the guys that do that effort to help attracting the new people, right? So in my mind, it does make sense that they are here now, and they will be the ones like probably creating the catalyst for the new people to come in, right? Saying that this will do, Bitcoin will go to 1 million, all the stuff that you said to, right? Bitcoin to 1 million, all that garbage, right? That we know it's not true at all, but they need to feed that shit, right, into the people that come, so that they believe, right? So that they attract more people, etc., right? Usually that's what happens.
Let's take a quick.
My accent is Portuguese, by the way.
After Cairo responds to this one, we'll take a quick break for a second. But go ahead, Cairo.
Yeah, I think that the institutions they want the retail to come in to be their exit liquidity. Yes. The institutions want to dump on the retail, and the institutions will be like the first snowflake that causes the avalanche of the bear market that comes around. Because a lot of people are thinking, well, these institutions are going to keep the prices up. It's not been my experience back when I worked in TradFi, is that they don't stand and fight. They get out at the first sign of trouble is what institutions typically do. But I think that in order for people to come here and be the exit liquidity that the institutions want them to be, we do need that money printer turned back on in the form of something like stimulus payments, or, if the tariffs get ruled constitutional. Trump was talking at some point about having a dividend check being sent out to all Americans from the tariffs. I think there's got to be something like that going on, because when you look at what life is like right now for your everyday American, it's not good. I mean, I've seen a lot of this on X. It's all over TikTok. Everybody just saying, man, I can't afford to live. My paycheck comes and it's gone within hours after I receive it. So these people just don't have the money to go invest in crypto. And before that turns around, that money printer's got to get turned back on. I mean, money printer will fix everything for us here in the markets and everything. It won't make their lives better, but it'll make our lives better. But I see it's going to take a long time still for that money printer to get turned back on.
Okay. Look, I think it's possible that we have like that blow off top without the money printing. I do think it's possible that we attract money from other assets, and we have that without the money printing. Although I recognize money printing would absolutely help with that, and would be a huge catalyst. Like obviously, right? But I do see that we can have like normal blow off top, like 2000, more or less 2017. Or we can even have like the double top like we had last season, right? I don't know, but I would say something that whatever it is, it would happen like soonish, I would say. But we'll see. But look, at the end of the day, the only thing that I want to say, like if you always want to be on the boat, don't sell everything, right? If you want to be on the train, don't sell everything. It's not hard, right? If you're unsure, like I am,
you want to be on a yacht.
No, but look, I'm unsure. Like if we get like even if like everything plays out like I'm saying, I'm never gonna sell everything because I always trade against myself. Always. This is my first rule. I always trade against myself. Always, right? That's my first fucking rule is that I'm wrong. I believe that I'm wrong all the time, right? That I'm wrong all the time. That's why I never bet 100% on one thing because I could be wrong. It's so easy for me to be wrong, man. So just don't sell everything. That's it.
Let's use the next 15-20 minutes if you guys want to go into like this. I think most interesting piece to me would be what is the strongest, and we've had over an hour to go through all the different points and stuff so far. What is the strongest thing? We'll start with Cairo. What is the strongest point Pedro has made so far? And do you still disagree with it? And if so, how? And then we'll do the other direction with Pedro.
Yeah, I mean, from what I get from Pedro's argument is that the reason it's got to end soon is because it had been going up for a whole 2 years, which when we look at its previous cycles, well, absolutely, like the amount of time that it's spent going up has a limit, and we reach that breaking point. Where I disagree with saying like, well, it's going to have to be the same thing this time around, is that in previous cycles. During those 2 years, you had the money printer going on. In this cycle, for the past 2 years, we really haven't had the money printer. We've had the opposite. We've had tightening. So if we get the money printer turned back on, I mean, it's amazing that we're at where we're at right now to think of like where we're going to be when we're in an environment where the policies are now favorable to us, where the monetary policy is now a favorable environment. Because look at how much we've done so far in an unfavorable monetary environment where they're doing tightening, and we had interest rates that were really high, and the dollar was very strong. So that's like where I would say we got to keep our eyes open to think like it's not going to be over soon. We got to keep our eyes open to the idea that it's not going to be over soon just because the policies that have been forced on us have been so anti-crypto or anti-investment, really, anti-money go up, that when they start getting turned around, it looks like they're going to start getting turned around. Imagine like how much better they can be when we're in a favorable monetary environment.
Yeah, and Pedro, you too. What has anything changed your mind about what Cairo said yet, or are you still sticking with the 4-year?
No, well, yeah, I'm sticking with the 4-year, but I'm giving you the reference to gauge if I'm right or wrong, right? Because one of the first things I said was, if we get like into consolidation, for example, don't do much, right, for the next few months, then probably I'm wrong, and Cairo is right. Right, that was my early statement, and I do think that it's possible that we get these cycle top delayed, and it could get delayed over 1 year. That's not a problem if we get enough reason to, right? Like just sideways action, which is possible. The institution just doing sideways actions for a whole new year, and then we have another kickoff. It's 100% possible. I do think it has a lower likelihood of happening. That's only my point, right? I only assign it a lower likelihood of happening.
Say, what if we get all-time high for Ethereum? What if Ethereum, does with Tom Lee predictions? What if Ethereum we hit 10, 15, 20K, Bitcoin doubles? I think yesterday, there was a clip of him saying like Bitcoin could double from here at the end of the year. What if we get Bitcoin and Ethereum tops? What happens going into next year? Is it just all right? We're going to bear market. Is it okay? Now it's alt season. What do you think, Pedro?
Well, alt season is something that is very short and usually doesn't take more than 30 days after the Bitcoin top, right? So I wouldn't expect that at all. I would expect alt season to be short again, 30 to 60 days tops, and then bear market. Yes, that would be my prediction.
So you think alt will, instead of just Ethereum and Bitcoin, the investment type stuff going up until the end of the year, if it is altcoin season, it's going to happen during that time. It's not going to happen
during and after. Yeah. I think they will go up with Bitcoin and Ethereum, but the first 10x is now, right? It's with Bitcoin and Ethereum. The 100x that follows is when Ethereum and Bitcoin go down, right? That's my point.
Cairo, what if Ethereum is at 10, 15, 20K this November? You feel at that point where you think, oh, this is the top 4-year cycle, or are you still... or do you need to see the business cycle? Do you need to see other things come to play? The Fed, like, you know what? We're going to cut by 2%. We're just nuts now. We're just going to cut 2%. It's great. Let's do it. Why not? Trump, man, good. Like Jerome Powell's coming to birthday parties for the Trump, like all this. What do you think?
Very good question. Very good question. So, if we're in that environment, my very first instinct is going to be, okay, what's gold doing? Because gold goes up first, then Bitcoin follows. Is gold still climbing? Because what I hear the gold analysts saying is that they actually think they were like more crazy than I was. I was thinking gold was going to climb all the way up to 6,000. They're thinking that thing can go all the way up to $12,000 an ounce. So that would be the first instinct, is to look at that. Is it possible that we're at a top in November if Ethereum is at 25,000? Absolutely, it's possible. What else I'd be looking at here is, well, what actions have the Fed taken? What actions are they still able to take? Because, it's a line of dominoes of options they can do first. First they could do the rate cuts. Then they can stop the tightening. Then they can turn on the money printer. And there's a very long period of time to go through all of those dominoes and pull each one of those levers. That whole process could take at least a year. But it will also have to look at, is there need for them to pull any of those levers? Like, did we undershoot inflation and we got it back under control? In that case, it raises the possibility of turning on the money printer. Or is the debt over at the Treasury going into one of those death spirals? And it looks like it might, because it was just released not too long ago, a few days ago, that the Treasury debt added $1.2 trillion in just 2 months. Typically, it takes a whole year to add $1 trillion to the national debt. They did it in just 2 months. We could be in that death spiral. They got to turn the money printer on. So if, say, Ethereum's at 25,000 in November, but we're still looking at a death spiral, we're still looking at Treasury, 10-year Treasuries over 5%, or we're still looking at the jobs market looking horrible, or if we still see a lot of money left in euro dollars that are yet to be repatriated like they want to do with stable coins, then I say we can still go higher. Could still go higher. And it could be a situation of higher for longer. Like, as far as what do I think is going to be the top, or what I think is going to be like the sign of the end, like what am I looking for to say, yeah, probably not much more left we can do here in that case? A couple of things. For one, I think that a lot of the anti-crypto politicians, not saying Elizabeth Warren, but some other anti-crypto politicians, will be less anti-crypto, probably open their minds to it more. We kind of see that now that Gavin Newsom wants to do his own coin and everything. But a lot of politicians that previously had been anti-crypto will now start to think, well, this is something that I can make money on, like stocks. And I think that our conversations really tell me a lot. Is the type of conversations that we have, particularly in this community, in the HEX RH community, tells me, are we in a bull market? Are we in a bear market? And some of the conversations I hear going on right now are conversations that only exist in a bear market, like the whole HEX versus PHEX debate. Because when that money printer is on, it doesn't matter. Both of those guys are going to be going up. And you're not going to have like this kind of scarcity mindset in the community where people think, oh, well, we're not going up because of those scumbags over there in that coin when they should be bringing their money over here to our coin. So when I see signs like that,
dumping.
Exactly.
Like, so many people are focused on that.
Exactly. When I see signs like that, that's where I think we're at the we're nearing the end.
Nice. Was there a movie called End of Days? Why am I thinking you keep saying the end? Are you thinking End of Days with Arnold Schwarzenegger? Is that who it was?
It was Arnold Schwarzenegger where he's supposed to be like taking on the Antichrist or something.
Yeah.
Nice.
Gosh, how did that pop in the mind of just, I keep hearing end of, and I'm like, oh, end of days. Yeah, that movie. So, anyway, so not think about the Antichrist right now. That's fine. Also, if you want a show recommendation, that has nothing to do with what we just said. Dark Matter on Apple TV. I've been really into Dark Matter recently. Super good if you like kind of time travel, multiverse type stuff. Pretty interesting. So unsolicited show. Not show advice, but do your own research on that.
You're shilling your shows now, bro? Come on.
So,
You're not chill here. I'm kidding.
Yeah, Dark Matter's paying me, right? Like I got. Let me do the Dark Matter promo real quick. I think it's this one.
Konnichiwa!
Oh, that one. That's the one they sent me. I think they sent me that one. I'm not sure. Vishal asked a question. Cairo, what is the most conservative amount total USD that one should have today, assuming an even split in the cores, if their target is $1 million?
So he's saying he has $1 million. He wants to know like how to allocate that to the cores, or what's he?
No, I think that this target is 1 million, right? Like I think he's asking like how much do I need to have today to get to 1 million, right?
Oh, okay.
I think.
Yeah, I'll tell you this here. I got no clue just how powerful PulseChain can be. So I refrain from making price predictions on anything on the PulseChain side. I do think, though, that if Ethereum goes up to 20,000, HEX can easily hit $7. So depending on what you think PulseChain is going to do, you think it's going to mirror it or it's going to dwarf that type of price target, then you can kind of reverse engineer from there. That being said, though, it's not financial advice.
But wait, is that for HEX or HEX? Sorry.
Well, maybe hear that again, Pedro?
Is that for
the whales are dumping
or HEX?
Yeah.
The Ethereum HEX or
PulseChain? HEX is the only one I feel comfortable making a prediction on, just because I have a previous cycle to look at. And also because the L1 that it runs on, we have previous cycles to look at. Whereas PulseChain, anything can happen with that. I mean, it could blow all of our minds, especially when the money printer goes off, just because of how new it is, that those new coins, the best run is early in their life, in their infancy. And just, it has so much against it right now that, as the gatekeeping gets reduced, each piece of gatekeeping that gets reduced, I think adds a 10x to the price.
No, my prediction for EX is actually $2, so it's not that far from yours, I think.
FUD. That is FUD.
That is FUD. Yes, 100% FUD. Sorry, guys, I'm FUDding EX.
Oh, EX. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I'm talking about EX.
20,000 X or so? Okay, that's not bad. What is it, $39 for 10,000 X for PX, I believe.
I have no idea.
I posted that the other day.
Okay.
Well, I can tell you, 10,000 X. Go ahead.
A lot of people are really reading into that one quote Richard said a couple of years ago about 10 cents doesn't matter on the way up to $100, and people are thinking that that's the target for
but
PulseChain HEX.
We didn't have PulseChain when Richard wrote that. People kind of forget that it was one asset only, right? And it's not one asset only anymore. So
and you know what? Our 10,000X actually would put it at $100, I think, right?
Around that, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
but maybe you need to spread that out through more coins, I guess.
Well, I'm looking forward to Sydney Sweeney doing PulseX commercials. That's what I'm hoping. That's what we get in the next 8 weeks or 8 months.
It's not the top if she does, right? It's because it needs to be bigger, even bigger than that, right? I'm kidding. If she does, man, come on, that would be amazing.
Can we get Sydney Sweeney in the show? She might like crypto. I would not be surprised if there's a Sydney Sweeney coin soon. I'm sure.
Oh yeah,
it'll be on Pump.tire soon, anyways. Gents,
hopefully.
excellent discussion, debate, conversational debate. I hope everyone in chat feels entertained, educated, and comes away with the sense of, hey, these are pretty cool conversations to have and they actually matter. And hopefully you learn something valuable. Closing arguments, closing thoughts. We'll start with Cairo and come down to Pedro.
Yeah, I'll say a couple of this here because Pedro and I don't disagree as much as we thought we were going to right here. He's not as bearish as I thought he originally was here. So on that note, if there's any bears out there that do say it's all over, well, I want to hear from you, all right? Because I do want to hear more from people who disagree with me because in a lot of my opinions, I actually want to be wrong. I want to believe, like when I have a discussion with T-Bird coming up, I don't know exactly when that will be, but we are going to stream. And he is a 4-year fundamentalist that thinks it has to end before the year is over. So I hope he is able to convince me that it has to end before the year is over because I don't want to wait anymore. I'm getting really annoyed with how long everything is taking, but I'm here for the long haul, and I'll wait as long as I need to. So what I'll say about this is that I think that if I'm being as honest as I can be with everybody, and I'm not going to give anybody false hope or anything because I want to avoid doing that, I just see a 20% chance right now that the money printer gets turned on within the next year. Because even after Powell leaves in May of next year, well, it's going to take a long time for the new Fed chair to get us situated, even though he's going to serve out Trump's agenda however they want it to. So I do think that we got a difficult time ahead of us for the rest of this year. But to me, this is all good. This is actually all good news to me because it gives us more time to stack up and pack our bags. There's going to be more people that are going to be jeeting out and will be willing to give away $100 bills for pennies if we are to read too much into that one tweet from Richard Hart or that one quote that he said there. So I see it as a good thing and don't think of it as me being fuddish or bearish or anything. I'm still incredibly optimistic and bullish, and I think that if we hold long enough, then all three of us are going to be very, very rich this time next year, and everybody in the chat is going to be very, very rich this time next year, or at most probably 18 months away from now. I also say that later on today on X, we got our spaces for Hexagon University. Anybody's got any disagreements or questions, that is a great place to bring them to me right there because I'm happy to hear opposing views or just some questions like if you think, well, hey, this didn't make quite much sense here. Can you please explain that more?
Cairo can come at you in two ways. He can come at you with, hey, let's just have a nice, peaceful discussion. He can also come at you with, rip off your head, spit down your throat, which is both of which are very entertaining and educational, as I would like to say. So, well done. Yeah, and everyone out there who's tired of waiting, here's the number one thing that's helped me. I don't wear my emotions on my sleeve. Whatever the candle colors are, I don't care. I don't even look at them half the time. If I'm going to buy, sell, or have a leverage position, why else would I look at the price? If I'm not doing any of those things, why do I care? And I can wait. So I don't look at the candle colors. That is my mood of the day. So that's what's helped me a lot.
Yeah. I do understand this is a very unpopular position that I have, and I hope I'm wrong. But I want somebody to get on stream and show me how I'm wrong.
I mean, I think it's going to be very hard, right? Because I don't think there's the definitive evidence that it's going to end now, right? Or that it's going to sustain itself for another 1 year, right? I don't think there's evidence for that.
Pedro, you set yourself up for 8 weeks from now. So
but 8 weeks from now is yeah, sure. That's what I'm saying. In 8 weeks from now, sure, we could absolutely have the discussion that I'm wrong, right? Or that I'm right if we did pump 10x from here, right? So it's going to be way easier to gauge which one of us is actually on the correct path, I think, because right now we're actually on the decisive moment, right? It's literally on timeline, but it's very close to the end. So if we wait 2 more weeks and nothing, 2 more weeks, that's stuck in my mind. If we wait 2 more months and nothing happens,
2 more weeks can mean anything you want.
Exactly, 2 more weeks, just 2 more weeks, guys.
Yeah.
So if it's instead of 2 more weeks, it's 2 more months and nothing happens, then probably I'm wrong, and we will have an extended cycle. I can say that with confidence, right? And I hope I'm wrong, because if I'm wrong, it means that the price we're going to reach, it's going to be so much higher than what I previously anticipated that I'm gonna be forced to change the targets, right? So that's why I actually hope that I'm wrong. Cairo hopes that he's wrong so that he can cheat out sooner, right? With like nice numbers, nice bags. If that happens, I'm not sad at all, right? I can cheat sooner too. Perfect. I can like focus on other things for like 3 or 4 months and then go back to crypto because that's the only thing I fucking love, right? It's absolutely like this, right? I'm being truthful. It's amazing. Like if you like crypto, man, it's impossible to like fully get out. It's impossible, man. There's always something going on. There's always something going on. So yeah, go on.
There's a line from what's the movie? The Night Before. If anyone's seen that, where she's like she's like, oh, it's like the Miley Cyrus song, "Wrecking Ball." You can laugh to it, you can cry to it, you can sing to it. It's like the PulseChain community. You can laugh here, you can cry here, you can just sing along, you can just hang out. Like we got everything.
Exactly. No, yeah, absolutely correct. But like either way, my point is, if you don't sell everything and if you're patient enough, you are going to win. This is like the key message from, in my opinion, from this debate, which is, if you're patient, right, which is, I am wrong, and if you're patient and wait, perfect, you're going to win, right? If, like, look, just don't sell everything, right? Because, like, if you don't sell everything, you sell just a little bit, and then I'm wrong, for example, and you have, like, another fucking huge, crazy, cycle in 6 to 12 months from now, right? You have a mini top now, and then you have a crazy cycle coming up, like, when the money between comes in like 12 months, then like just don't sell everything. Just have a bag. Don't don't need to sell everything, man. If you need to sell everything, it means you haven't bought enough now, right? That's the only thing that it means.
I've asked the people if they would like a follow-up 8 weeks from now, see who's closer on their position.
Oh yeah, I agree. Let's do one.
Seems to be pretty thumbs up.
Yes, I love it. Yeah. I love that.
Remind me, 8 weeks from now, we'll see. Hopefully, we're so rich that we're like, what's there to talk about? Everyone's so rich now. I thought we were going to the party. We're going to the club.
Let me make a prediction. If we end up doing that debate before the 8 weeks from now, I will be right. If we end up having to wait 8 weeks to do the debate because nothing happened, I'll be wrong. I'm sure that if the price moves 5x, whatever number, right, before the 8 weeks, we're going to have the discussion before, right? Because I'm going to be like, we need to be on stream because I think I'm right. I have the proof now, right? That's it. Simple.
Yeah. I'm rooting for that to be the case. I'm rooting for you to be right there because I would love to be able to sell and head down to Puerto Rico and avoid capital gains tax there. But we'll see. But I want to thank you, Pedro, for coming on the stream here because I tell you what, there's a lot of bears that I've been trying to get debates with. Not that you're a bear or anything, but there are a lot of like haters of me that I've been trying to get on stream with, and they're all just they're only tough guys on Twitter. Only tough guys on Twitter. When you invite them to a stream, they disappear.
No, but that's not like normal people. They don't like to put their faces out there, right? So I do commend you for like asking for the debates. That was very nice, especially because I think the people like outside learn something from this discussion, right? At least they learn two different perspectives. We give them like different views, different ideas. I mean, they can think about it at least, right? The thing I like to do the most is to think, actually. So that's why I don't watch that many series and that like movies. I just think. I can spend like an entire day just thinking, like doing nothing and just thinking. So, guys, if you can think about what we discussed today, and if it helps you, I'm happy with that. I'm happy that if what we discussed today helps you.
Pedro, I got bad news for you because I've already given you 2 different sets of media to watch today. You got,
damn it.
You've got, and you got to watch Sydney Sweeney commercials if you want to as a bonus. However, they're pretty good for what I understand. Okay. You've got The Night Before, great Christmas movie if you like comedies from 2010s, and Dark Matter, new favorite.
Dark Matter, okay.
It's pretty good. Okay. Yes, if you have any debates that you would like to, any topics you'd like to debate on the show, we've only I see 14 in the playlist. We got 14 so
Max, far. Actually, there's one that I want to do with you. This one is very specific, okay? It's, you're going to like it.
Okay.
It's HEX versus Bitcoin HEX, right? It's specific. It's not cores versus memes. It's specific, one versus the other. 1-to-1, right? Very specific.
I'm usually very excited, but I was literally thinking, I was like, man, 4 of these have already been meme coin debates.
Really? No, but we can wait. Look, you could like do more like when you want to, when you feel like
you're just waiting for the price chart to go up, right?
I'm just waiting for the price so that you're forced to like to the debate. Yeah,
Maybe so. I do like to debate. I do like to. I mean, again, I think a lot of us, we're just natural truth seekers, right? Like you said, you're just interested. You like having these conversations. Yes. You like to understand. And Cairo was talking about steel man and straw man. I don't think anyone knows what either one of those are. Maybe at least not the second one. Like I've said steel man before, people are like, what is that? I'm like, that is a very crucial thing to understand both sides of an argument so you can have a proper debate and have sympathy and stuff for the other side as well.
And Cairo, it was amazing speaking to you. I think this was the second time that we met, I guess, but this time was properly, right? So it was like I had the best time, to be honest. I wasn't expecting to have this much fun. I thought it was going to be aggressive and everything, but no, it went very smooth. Loved it, man. Amazing debate.
There you go. See, I'm not so bad.
No, amazing. You're an amazing guy.
Yes,
I will promote your stuff. 100%.
Appreciate that, Pedro.
Cairo's been streaming a lot. Building a channel and stuff too.
Yes.
And,
keep going, bro. You're good at it. You have a very, very nice setup there, and you speak very well, man. You're. It's not the way that you speak, right? You can. It's amazing. I love it. It's very good.
Excellent.
Appreciate that. Too. Yeah, appreciate that. Like we're just trying to keep the not necessarily like the hope, because I don't really like the word hope, but we're trying to like keep the steadfast strength that everybody needs to have alive, because I do think that it can take longer. It might even take longer than I said it would take here today. And a lot of people are going to lose hope or lose the vision, because we've lost a lot of like very key people in this community. That's I think is tragic. But if anybody that has a perspective and has a voice and has a way to like show, hey, here's a reason for you to believe in the investments that you have. Well, I think you need to come and get on a stream and say so. Because I said this to Tam, like why she does her spaces. Like just you being you with the personality that you have makes you capable of reaching an audience that I can't reach.
Look, man, the Tam, I sent her a voice message, was like maybe 3 or 4 months ago, telling her, you need to start streaming. Like you need to start streaming because you are very unique, right? You can bring people together that other people can't. And you know what happened? I fucking watched the stream between Temtem and Giga, and I was like, this is the best content that I've ever seen on PulseChain. I love it. So unexpected, right? Like two completely different people from completely different worlds and with different worldviews talking on the same place. Very nicely, very politely. I loved it. It was amazing. I loved it. I loved it. I absolutely loved it, to be honest. So I'm so happy that she started streaming and doing the HEX University. Look, you guys know that I don't agree with everything that she says, right? I have a very particular opinion, but that doesn't matter, because if we get these types of content creators that are quality content creators, right? That are people who have stuff to add to the conversation, to like it's amazing. I was so happy when I saw that she started. I was extremely happy, to be honest. Very happy. I hope she continues. And you too.
Shout out to Tam for the Richard Hart University. That's really cool. I've been tuning in as much as I can as well. But yeah,
Max, I'm not praising you because you already got shared by Richard Hart. So I mean, come on, do you need more stuff? And you already won. Congratulations.
You did at me one time.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean that's already winning, bro. Congratulations.
Yeah. I don't need it, but it's appreciated.
We don't need it, but we love it. Come on, bro. Come on. You don't need
That's
it.
That's a great way to put it, bro.
Yeah,
that's my new T-shirt. I don't need it, but I love it. Hex.com.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good one.
I mean, actually, hold on. I do. Maybe I do need Hex. I do like Hex. Anyways, gents, amazing conversation. Yeah, thank you again. I love perspectives. I love, again, anyone who wants to debate on particular topics and you're rational, respectful, want to have a discussion about it, not a yelling match. I'm interested in hearing them, and maybe we'll have some more on the show. A lot more fun stuff. But where can people find it? Cairo Crypto Hex on YouTube. Where can people find your stuff?
Just reinvent Ideal. It's all there. It's everything. Every handle is now reinvent Ideal. So that's on X. That's on Substack. That's on YouTube. You just look that up. Okay. That'll take you to me.
Gotcha. And Pedro at Fubrocas.
Yeah, at Fubrocas on Twitter. Yeah, I have everything there. If you look at my profile, all the links are there. So, yeah.
So, you never know. Might do some more debates. Sounds fun.
I hope so, man. I want that one. I want that Hex versus Bitcoin Hex, because it's so hard to actually find people who We want to have like a real conversation to understand like both sides. Like it's not easy, right? Everybody's just working for their bags. They don't want to say bad things about the stuff that they hold. But I don't think it's a problem. Not a bad thing. It's just a perspective, right? Because people interpret things as bad, but it's not bad or good. It's more about perspective, right? That's it.
If you really want to put a twist on it, I could argue for Bitcoin HEX.
Yeah, for sure, and I can 100% argue only for HEX. Like obviously, like, sure.
I'm definitely going to disclaimer it that I'm just taking this position, but
Sure.
again, stillman, strawman. Let's do it. It'd be great.
I love it.
All right, gents, that's all we got for you today. Chat, you've been awesome. Very nice, very good questions. Probably can't get to them all, but boy, we got an amazing road ahead of us. I'm excited for it. That's all we got for you today. Scivive and 5555. We are out.
Thank you.